Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, March 21st edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, joined by Mr. Big Marcel, and looking forward to talking about UFC London with you, Marcel. I mean, what a card, right? So how was your weekend, first off, man? I mean, I'm assuming it was a pretty good weekend, right?
Great weekend, man. We had some great MMA with UFC London. I think, in my opinion, might be one of the best events I've ever seen, and that's not to over exaggerate or anything. I think it was a really good event. After that, on Sunday, my team won in the biggest rivalry matchup. My soccer team, Ajax, 3-2 to the biggest rivals. So I had a pretty good weekend, man. And I read a book which I really wanted to read. So
What book?
yeah,
What book did you read?
it's this one here. It's about a Dutch former criminal. Yes,
Yeah,
but he's also really involved in the early fighting in the Netherlands. So it was really a fun read. So I wanted to read that.
awesome, man. Good to hear. And I'm looking forward to talking about the card with you and your weekend. I'm glad it was good. Let's get some comments here. We got Glint. Oh, Glint's congratulating. Yeah, congrats, Marcel. I mean, he's verified. I mean, for me, it was like, it didn't matter if Marcel had a blue checkmark or not. I knew he was one of the best guys, just like myself. I didn't have the checkmark until last year. I was 10 years into this until I got it. So it is what it is. I mean, it's just, I don't know how they even decided sometimes. What are you going to say? Go ahead.
It's funny, man, because I actually only wanted to because people are like some imposters,
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. That's why I wanted it.
Yeah.
So actually, I sent in a request on Friday, and they verified me not even within 24 hours. So
Good.
yeah, so yeah, that's good.
Good stuff. We got Hype in the chat. Tristan's in the chat. Joe's in the chat. Tristan just said, in dark, it's the white chart. That's what I use. I use dark mode too. Yeah, we do.
Me too.
Do too. Yeah. He's saying, yeah, everyone got a bonus. Great. I mean, I'm happy to do that. The UFC did that. It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so let's break it down. Let's recap the card, and then we'll talk about whatever. So let's start with just overall. I mean, like I agree with you. It was a great card. It was one of the best cards of the year. Here's the only thing I'm going to say, and I'm not saying it wasn't one of the best cards of the year. I'm not saying anything like that because it really was a great card. But I think if you did a card anywhere, like even including this weekend in Columbus, I think anywhere with fans now is going to be a good card, honestly, because people have waited so long for this that I just think people are just got so much excitement. They really want to just be out there watching some fight, watching some sports in person. We haven't had many crowds with the UFC except for like the pay-per-views. And this one just felt like a more intimate night. So I'm not saying Columbus is going to be as loud as this place or anything like that. I don't think it will be. But, I just think, Marcel, right now there's just a huge hunger for people to watch live sports, in general. You know what I mean? So I think, it was a great card. But I think you're going to see other places. They're going to start traveling around now, guys. They're going to go to hopefully other countries, other places in the States too, and maybe Canada. You're going to see some really good crowds, I think, for the rest of the year. Hopefully, that's my hope, Marcel. So let's get into the card. Overall, I mean, from a picks perspective, like I did okay. The prelims were tough. I mean, a lot of upsets in the prelims. Main card was good for the most part. Let's start with the main event. Marcel, we both got it correct. Tom Aspinall finished Volkov. We both called it first round. I don't think it was a surprise for us. We both said if Aspinall's either going to win early or he's going to probably get tired and lose a decision. We both said the same thing. And, the fight was honestly not even competitive. It was completely one-sided.
Crazy.
Aspinall was winning the stand-up, Marcel, and then he took him down a couple times and then submits him with a straight armbar, I believe. It was just an amazing submission. Like, you don't even see that submission that often anymore. So, I mean, the guy's amazing. We already knew this, though. It's not like it's a surprise for me. I don't think it's a surprise for you, Marcel. And I talked about last week, guys. I said Tom Aspinall's special. He can knock you out and he can submit you, which is something not many heavyweights can do. That's why he's a special guy. So give me your thoughts on his performance, because for me, it's like, right now he's top 5. And I think he's one fight away from fighting for the belt. I really think so, Marcel. Give me your thoughts, man.
I gotta tell you, man, I wasn't surprised he won, but the way he did it and the dominance he did, I was surprised with that, because Volkov, listen, man, like I told you, I'm not a super Volkov fan, but the guy is tough, We all know he's super tough. He keeps coming. He's very good, And for Aspinall to put him away in the first round, better on the feet, and he took him down so easily, and it was just an amazing performance. And I'm with you, man. He probably needs one more fight to go for the belt, and it's wide open right now. So, I mean, yeah, you can match him up with so many good fighters, and I think nobody really looking forward to face Tom Aspinall after a win like on Saturday,
One of the reasons I picked him was because I used to watch Bellator all the time. I don't watch as much anymore, but back in the day, in the Bjorn days and stuff, and even up to a few years ago, I was watching it like religiously. Just as I was a hardcore Bellator fan, and I watched that fighting with Minikov the other day before the breakdown show. And I just remember, I'm like, damn, Minakov destroyed him in the first round. There's no reason Tom Aspinall can't do the same thing. People just forgot about that fight because it was so long ago. But Aspinall is at that level. You know what I mean? Like, he's really good. I'm just super impressed by the guy, Marcel. By the way, I saw your boy Stefan Struve doing some interviews. That's pretty cool. He's working for you guys. That's awesome. You know, I think I had said something negative about him years ago on Twitter. Just about him, his chin getting knocked out all the time. This is probably like, I'm talking like 9-10 years ago, probably. He'd be blocked, but he's unblocked me now. So I'm glad, because I don't have a problem with the guy. And if you ever talk to him or so, and he ever says anything about me, just tell him Adam felt bad, and he likes you. So I made a lot of money on that guy back in the day, betting on him against guys like LeVar Johnson and stuff like that, submitting them. So I'm just saying, like, it's good to see him back in the game, even if it's not in the the cage. He shouldn't fight anymore. Yeah, I didn't like Kenshiro saying I didn't lie. I didn't. But, sometimes you got to not be so honest. Anyways, I'm glad to see that he's back in the game, though, Marcel. He's a good dude. Did Dana White recognize him, though? Did he? I'm sure he did, obviously, because he's 7 feet tall. But I remember when I was in Montreal and I was doing an interview with Jonathan Goulet in the scrum, former UFC fighter. Dana didn't recognize him. It was really weird. He's like, hey, Dana. And he's just like looking at it. He's like, I think I've seen you before. And I'm like, this guy fought like 10 times for your promotion, man. Anyways, let's get some comments. Marcel, they didn't televise the main event in Poland because it could be Russian. Any similar issues where you were, Marcel? I can't hear you. I can't hear you at all.
Hello?
There you go. Yeah.
Let me first reply to you.
Sure.
I mean, Dana he actually interviewed Dana after the event. So yeah, he recognized him, and Dana said he did a great job.
Of course, he's 7 feet tall, like I said.
Yeah. About that, no, man. I think there was a few people who didn't like it, that there was a Russian on it. But hey, man, I mean, you can't do like, maybe I understand it at your country to do it, but over here it's like you either do the whole event or you don't do it. You know what I mean? But we are not like we're doing that fight and we're not doing that fight. I mean, they don't do it like that. But we just broadcast the whole event. It was on free TV and it was behind the paywall as well. So that was because of the European one. So yeah, we did.
There you go. Get some more comments here. U.S. events want the same atmosphere. I mean, I kind of agree, but I'm just saying, Glenn, I just think like it was a great event, but I just think there's a lot of excitement that led into it. I'm not criticizing. I think it's great, man.
Should have said Canadian just to
bring it back to Canada. Trust me. You bring it back here to Toronto. I shouldn't even said Columbus. I don't know why I said that, but bring it to Toronto. Trust me, man. I've been to all the Toronto. I went to every single one. The crowd was fucking amazing here. UFC 129. Oh my god, best crowd ever. Amazing. 55,000 people or so. That was crazy. Thoughts and grand for smoke. Yeah, we don't have time to talk about the upcoming fights right now, Joseph. We got to do recap. We can talk about it later, but I mean, Grant should win that fight. Expert Blachowicz and Rakic, I have no idea. Do you have any thoughts on that? You know anything about that, or
what's
Blachowicz and Rakic? Do you know anything like?
Probably on May 14th main event, but it's not confirmed yet.
I think that's for the Apex too, I believe, right? That
one.
I don't know why they're going back to the Apex. I don't get it. Like, why don't they just do show? They don't need to. I don't get it. I really don't understand. Heavyweight's interesting. I agree, Tristan. It's a good division. Now, let's go to the next fight here, guys. Well, actually, let's do matchmaking first. I mean, he called out Tai Tuivasa. Do you want to see that fight, or is there someone else you'd rather fight?
I think Tai Tuivasa are probably going to fight Stipe Miocic. So I would go with either. Cyril Gane would make sense. I think, and even what's his name? I forgot his name. Also on the top,
Lewis.
Exactly. Lewis, Cyril Gane or Lewis would make sense.
I kind of like the Lewis fight, actually. I don't mind that fight.
I like it for Aspinall, but not for Lewis.
Yeah, I know for sure. I just think it's not a bad fight because he's ranked number 5 and he's beatable. So it would get Tom. Right now, Tom would be 6th because Volkov is 6th. So Tom's going to be 6th. It's so weird seeing Blades ranked above Lewis. By the way, that's so messed up. They just fought last year. They fought last year.
At the same time, man, the Gane fight is very intriguing as well.
That's a good fight. I don't know what they're going to do with Gane, man. It's such a. He was there actually at the card.
Yeah, he was there.
Topuria was there too. They're both. I think they're like sitting beside each other. I don't know if you noticed. They were both there in the right behind like the where they do the Vaseline and stuff. They were both standing there. So, did you know Aspinall's pulled hair? I didn't know that. No, Aspinall versus Miocic, most stylistically similar matchup. Is it? I mean, I don't know. I feel like Tom's kind of like unique, guys. Honestly, like I feel like. If anything, and I don't know if you guys agree with me, I feel like Tom and Nagano are probably like the most similar at this point, because Nagano's got a ground game too. Pardon?
Tom is quick for a heavyweight.
Tom's
quick.
Fast. He's very fast. I'm just saying stylistically, though, Nagano's going to more grappling now, and I don't know. I know Stipe has takedowns, and we saw that in the Nagano fight, but he's really been a striker the last bunch of fights, anyways. But yeah, I would like that. I don't mind any of these fights, guys. Like, they're all good fights. They like the Apex for lowest cost. That's true, Glenn, actually. Let's go to the co-main event. We both called this one, Marcel, Arnold Allen. No, I didn't expect him to get the knockout that fast, I'll be honest. I thought it'd be a tougher fight than that. He made it look so easy, guys. Pretty amazing. But I called it, though, Marcel. I said last week on this podcast, I got to give myself credit because I'm always the guy that's hardest on himself. Let me give myself some credit. I said Arnold Allen's the best bet of the week. Did I not, Marcel? I hope you guys tailed. I really do. And I hope you guys didn't bet on Dan Hooker because the guy is just – Marcel, he's taken way too much damage. He should never have dropped to 145. Go back to please. I hope he goes back to 155 because at 145, man, he looked like a ghost on the scale. People were like, "Oh, he looks good." I'm like, "No, he doesn't. He's literally at 0% body fat. That's not good, guys."
You saw him poster signing.
Yeah, that was bad.
That picture that looked awful, man. You know,
I know it's not good, dude. He shouldn't be fighting this weight class. I'm not sure why his management or the UFC even thought it was a good idea. But honestly, now that I think about it, I guess I'm not as surprised about the knockout because we all know that when you call that weight, you really deplenish your chin and your ability to withstand punishment. And and this guy's been fighting often too. You know, he's been fighting pretty often the last couple of years and being in some like 5-round wars and stuff. So listen, I like Dan Hooker a lot, guys. But honestly, I feel like he's in complete no man's land now because he's not a contender at either weight class. I guess he is ranked still in the top 10, but I think they'll take him out now because
for sure.
Because he just fought in this division. So right now he's going to be unranked in 2 divisions. So it's like, what's next for this guy? I have no idea. I mean, there's got to be some fun. I'd rather just see him fight fun fights. You know what I mean? Against like guys that he could, like just other strikers and stuff that aren't as like dangerous as Allen, who's like on a 10-fight win streak or 9-fight win streak in the UFC. He's like super dangerous. Anyways, like Arnold Allen, though, we got to give this guy credit. 9 fights in a row now, Marcel. I mean, the guy's incredible. And again, he was minus 110 odds. I just didn't understand this one at all. I don't understand why people are so confident in Hooker. Again, after all the wars, the weight cut. Anyways, I thought Allen looked amazing. You know, I understand people are going to say McCann was the performer of the night, and I get that. But for me, this was the best performance of the night. I don't know what you think. I don't know if you agree with me on that, but I think it was. I really do.
I think it was an amazing performance, but we also have to take notice that he got dropped almost by punch from Hooker.
Yes, he did.
And, but he went through it. I mean, this was a very good win. At the same time, you can think about Dan Hooker has looked good in his last fights, you know, besides that one where we put Nasrat Hakparas on the ground for 3 rounds almost.
Yeah.
So I know where Dan Hooker is. I always told you, like, I think Dan Hooker can compete with the best guys, but he's not a top guy. You know what I mean? But he can compete on his best days. He can compete with the best guys, but he's not a top guy. Yeah, I mean, it's a great win for Arnold Allen. The thing is, he should fight more often, you know?
Yeah.
And I think with 1 or 2 more wins, he wants to fight Calvin Kattar. I'm fully for it, you know, make it, do it in Boston. I don't mind. Do it in London again later this year. I don't mind, you know? And the winner of that might be next for a title or a contender fight, you know? 1 of the 2. Depends on how the division plays out at that moment.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that completely. I mean, the guy's good, but you know, I don't know what you guys think. The odds came out for Calvin Kattar and Arnold Allen. Future odds. Calvin Kattar is a minus 200 favorite. That seems a little high to me, honestly. I know he looked amazing in his last fight, but he was a plus 250 underdog, and all of a sudden he's a huge favorite. Kind of weird, right? I think. I don't know. We don't even know if that fight's going to get made. Let me get some comments, guys. Congrats getting verified, Marcel. You kind of look like Corey McKenna. Oh, okay. Might spend that. Stupid Corey McCann. I'll talk about that fight in a few minutes. Yeah, you could just, and if you got some money, do the VIP experience. Bet Dan Hooker. Should have listened to me, man. Hooker dropping at 135. Oh gosh, don't do it. I mean, he really was a fade. You know, good spot. I wonder if Hooker could bulk up and have some fun with the 170. Maybe he could. I mean, that might be. You know what? Sometimes everyone always thinks about going down. Why not go up? Look at Robert Whittaker when he went up. Like, there's lots of guys that went up in weight, Marcel, that did better. Bavon Lewis just went up 2 weight classes. Like, a lot of guys are going up. I remember when Donald Cerrone a few years ago, he was getting destroyed at 155. He went up to 170. He went on a huge win streak. Remember that? So sometimes going up in weight's not a bad thing. And like, you know, Wonder Boy, I mean, probably beats him, but you know, I think his durability would be better at 170. I don't know if he's going to make that move, but I think he's just go back to 155. Really, that's what I think. Arnold Allen is good, but I don't think he's over. How is he overrated? He's so underrated. He's the. Come on, man. He's the definition of an underrated guy. How is he overrated? Like, you're right. Yeah, some of the guys he was beating weren't great, but he just smashed Dan Hooker. He beat Mads Burnell. He's beaten other guys that are pretty good too. I disagree. I don't think he's over. I think he's underrated. You know, people weren't even giving him the credit, and they're still not even talking about him as a title contender, even after 9 wins in a row. No one's like, let's give Allen a title shot. No one's saying that right now. So I don't think he's overrated. I mean, I disagree with what you're saying, but you know, that's your opinion. I respect it. Arnold Allen best player in the card. I thought so. Nice to see Allen get hype based on performances rather than much shit you talk. Guy's been doing good, man. It looks like Dana's kind of bought into him a little bit too. Dana was saying a lot of really, really nice things about him. Let's see here. Yeah, Allen and K would be a good one. I would like that fight. Makes Poirier look overrated. I think that fight was so close when you think about it, honestly. You know, I don't know. I don't want to say Poirier's overrated, but honestly, like he beat Conor twice and diminished Conor. So I don't know. I mean, Poirier's great, but I'm not sure. Weight class, I don't know, Kevin. I think he's pretty skilled. He's got pretty good striking. He's got submissions. He's got wrestling. We saw him when he fought Nasser at Hackparas last year. Fight wasn't competitive. You know, I think when he's losing these elite guys, because you look at who he lost to, it was Poirier, Makhachev, and Chandler, right? So it's not bad guys. 9 wins in a row. Let me get this comment. 9 wins in a row because he fights once a year. That's true. I guess that's right. That's true. No, you're right. I mean, he has to fight more often. I agree with that. Guys that fight once a year, it's not. I don't get it. You know, I know that he's been managed, I think, by his dad the whole time, and they've been telling him to do the slow build. But I think at this point, you know, they got to throw him in the fire, and they did with this fight. But now he's going to fight Calvin Kattar, and if he beats him, then I think he'd be ready for the belt. Sorry, Marcel, go ahead.
It's not fun to say, but I always said it about Dan Hooker, man. I mean, he is, since the moment Israel Adesanya and Volkanovski became champions, his persona kind of switched, you know, like he acted like he was that next big thing from that camp. And I always was like, you're a good fighter, but you're not on the level of Israel Adesanya or Alexander Volkanovski, you know what I mean? And he was going to play some kind of a heel at a certain moment. So was really not him, you know. It didn't fit him at all, in my opinion, because I always thought of him as a nice guy and a good fighter, you know, hard worker. I don't say he's not a hard worker, he definitely is, but that just didn't fit him, you know. And I think at the last couple of fights, he stopped doing that, you know. I think it fits him much more, you know. And I mean, I hope he can get back on track, you know, because he's a good fighter. But I don't know, man, if he's a top guy, like I said.
Yeah, no, I agree, but we'll see what happens. All right, let's go to the next fight here. So, I mean, overall, great card, like I said, and this was a great performance too. I mean, great finish. I mean, he was losing at the beginning. I'm talking about Paddy, Pimblett, and Kazula Fargas. I mean, Kazula had, I'm looking at the stats right now, 2 minutes of 43 seconds of control time before basically Pimblett, I guess, swept him and got took his back and submitted him basically, or got him in the screen. I can't remember how it happened now, but you know, he was getting controlled in the ground. He also took a huge punch again. So I don't know. I'm still kind of like not completely sold on this guy. I mean, this was the easiest fight he could have been given. This guy was, like I said, Marcel, arguably the worst guy in the roster. He still, you know, struggled a little bit. So I don't know what to think about this guy still, Marcel. Like, he's good. He's pretty good, but he's beaten 2 guys that are not very good. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on Paddy in this fight, this performance?
Yeah. So I mean, I think I said he was going to submit him in the first round, but he got tagged within 15 seconds. Yeah. And Kazula Vargas did the most stupid thing he could do, going with him to the ground. I mean, why would you go to the ground with Pimblett while his striking isn't great and his ground game is pretty good? You know what I mean? So you can have top control, but still, you know, Pimblett is tricky on the ground, and he turned it around and he submitted him. So I mean, it was a good performance by Pimblett besides the first 10, 15 seconds. And he did what he had to do. But like you say, man, I mean, I say it to other people as well, and it's not because I had a thing with Paddy or whatever. But look at the compare it to who Paddy fought so far in his career, former Cage Warriors champion. I look at who Jai Herbert fought so far in his career in the UFC, former Cage Warriors champion. Compare it to each other and look at the way the UFC goes. He's gonna get like the Sean O'Malley treatment. You know what I mean? And that's because he's very popular with the fans. He probably sells tickets a lot, you know. And that's why they're going to do that. I'm not a favorite of that, you know. I think if you have that much of a I don't want to say big mouth, but if you talk that much shit, you know, you should back it up and you should get bigger challenges than a Kazula Vargas. You know what I mean? And I think Kazula Vargas, no disrespect to the guy, but is a UFC caliber, you know. No. And Paddy won first round submission, perfect win for him, you know, good win for him in front of his home crowd. But They got to give him a step up, man. And please don't give me another guy who is 1-1 or 0-1 in the UFC or 1-2.
That's why. Okay, let me just say, like, after this fight, Vargas is 1-3 now, and the other guy he beat, Luigi Vendramini, is also, I believe, 1-3. He's beating two guys who are 1-3. So while the skills are there, guys, the hype's a little unjustified at this point. I mean, he's got to beat someone better. Like, I think he's a good fighter, but I don't know, Marcel. I'm still not complete sold on being like a champ or anything like that.
No, definitely not. I think he can be.
Lots of people are convinced about it. I don't think so. Though.
I think he can be ranked, but the title contender or champion, I don't
not
see
ranked
it either,
now, but like in a few years, yes.
Yeah. I mean, Atman Azaitar.
Not after this
fight.
Atman
Azaitar called him out. I mean, let's do it. You know, Atman is good to stand up, and Pimblett is good on the ground. But of course, they won't. They also don't want to do Topuria.
Yeah,
they don't do that.
They won't do that fight. Let me get some comments, guys, about. Let's see here. What are your thoughts on Big Joseph? Hey, what's up, man? What are your thoughts on Big John ripping Paddy? I didn't see it, but you know, John works for Bellator, so I'm not really surprised.
This thing is pretty sad, to be honest, man.
I didn't see what he said. Go ahead.
Yeah, but now I didn't either. But John McCarthy is. I like John McCarthy. It was a great ref. He did a lot for the sport, but he's really shitting on a lot of UFC fighters all the time. With
he works for Bellator.
I don't like that. It's the same thing if the UFC shits on Bellator. Don't do it. You guys don't need it. You know what I mean? It's just stupid.
I'm with you. Remember Mark told take about Hooker being artificially inflated. Yeah, that's true. Topuria and Pimblett, we'll talk about that fight in a second. Don't trust Paddy versus legit killer. I don't really either, to be honest with you. Paddy's the real deal, apparently. Connor without the talent. That's funny. He is talented, though. He has a good ground game. He's a better ground game than Connor. I'll say that. Question for Adam and Marcel. What do you think the odds would be for Paddy Topuria? I mean, I think the odds would be really interesting because they're both minus 600 in this card. We'll talk about that fight in a second, but I would say it's close to a pick 'em, right? Like, I mean, maybe Topuria would be favored a little bit, but I don't think it'd be that big of actually after that last fight. Paddy and Jim Miller. You know what? Hey, Wani, I think that's a good fight. I actually like that fight. I think this one's good, man. Charlie Ontiveros. Don't kill Charlie. I don't want to see the first death in the UFC, please. We don't need to see that. I'm not even trying to be funny. That guy, that last fight was so brutal. That Ontiveros guy. My God, yeah. But remember that last fight? He actually dropped the dude with like two high kicks in the first round. Then he got destroyed after that. It was messed up. Paddy and Miller's a good fight, guys. I actually really like this call, guys, because why not? I mean, Jim Miller just fought Nicholas Motto, who had no fights. He just fought Eric Gonzalez, who had no fights. What's wrong with Paddy? That's a great fight. It makes so much sense. And Paddy wins that fight. It's a good win, right?
I honestly feel they prefer the Jared Gooden fight actually doing it again.
Maybe they'll do that. That's another one. Andrew, what's up, man? Who would you guys like for Paddy? I would like that Jim Miller fight you guys suggested. I mean, I haven't really looked at it. I'll take a look now. But yeah, I mean, what's up, Jim? And he's saying two guys, Paddy fought 2-9. I mean, it's not good, you know. But again, they're trying to build up slowly. Marcel's right, guys. They're doing the Sean O'Malley treatment. I don't like it, but he just brought my boy Jonathan Goulet. That's my boy, man. But they can't do that. They can't do that to Jonathan, man. They can't. His chin is just the poor guy. I love Jonathan, trust me. I mean, but his chin wasn't good. It's like with Struve, right? Marcel, I know you're friends with the guy, but let's be honest, he didn't have the best chin, right? Just like Jonathan. I even told Jonathan that, but when I talked to him once, I was like, you know, you got knocked out quite a few times. He was a great guy, though. Why isn't Ottoman fought yet? I'm not sure. I guess he does have some money. His family, right?
He's backed by the royal family of Morocco.
Yeah. So, okay, he's saying Nicholas Motto too. I mean, I guess knowing the UFC, they'll give him someone off lost. I'm gonna take a look at the roster right now, guys. List of
Jalen Turner, Devontae Smith.
Jalen Turner would, I think, destroy Paddy Pimblett. Honestly, I think he would, guys. I mean, that fight seems Jalen Turner. Come on, he deserves like someone good. Like he's been killing guys. You got to give him someone who's just got a few fights, who's got a couple wins. So I think
Matt Favola.
That's the other fight. Cole was telling me about that one. I think Matt wants that fight. That would be a good fight. Matt's coming off an amazing fight. I'm not sure if he was re-signed by the UFC. I know he wants to come back though. But yeah, Jared Gordon would be a good fight, Marcel. I think that would be a good one. Honestly. How about Christos Giagos, a guy who's pretty good but not great? Someone like that, you know what I mean? Well, someone like that would be good.
Dude, let him fight Billy Q and let Barstool cry.
By the way, Jim's asking what's next for Hooker. I mean, like I said, it's going to depend on his weight class. I think he should go back to 155. But the thing is, like, you know, even if he goes back there, they'll probably throw him in there with Slava Borshev or some killer. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't get easier. Gennaro Valdez, oh my God, don't even do that. That guy just took 4 knockdowns. He suffered 4 knockdowns against Matt Favola. Paddy and Hooker. We don't need to see that one either, I don't think. But yeah, I mean, like, they're gonna find someone that's not that good. Honestly, Marcel, I'm looking at I don't mind the Terrence McKinney fight either. I think that would be a good fight too for as long as it lasts. But they won't do that fight. They're gonna keep him on separate paths. just looking at the rank, I mean, there's a lot of guys that make sense. There's lots of guys like Guram would be a good fight, but they won't do it. You know what I mean, Marcel? They're just not going to do those fights. They're not going to do them.
No, not of good fights, you know.
What about
but
Joe Selecki? That's another guy. He's got a couple wins, and someone like that, like someone like a mid-tier guy. I think he's beaten 2 guys that are at literally the bottom of the roster. They got to give him someone in the middle now, right? Like I would say, wouldn't you say? So Pimblett Rosa rematch would be good, but the Rosa is in a different weight class now. So.
Yeah, 145 now.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I thought Julian won that fight, but the judges gave it to Paddy in England, I think. So in Cage Warriors. Let's go to the next fight here, guys. Gunnar Nelson defeats Cash Sato. I mean, like I said last week, the square bet of the week was Gunnar by submission, -110, and it didn't cash. He had, let me see how much control. 8 minutes of control time, Marcel, 3 takedowns. And he couldn't get the submission. I guess you got to give credit to Sato for not getting submitted, but this fight was awful. Honestly, this was like the low point of the card for me. This fight was terrible. I don't know what you thought about this fight. I did not enjoy watching this fight. What about you, man?
Yeah, I give Gunnar a pass because he was 2.5 years away. But
sure.
I mean, it wasn't eventful at all. This one and the Elise Reed Corey McCann fight were probably the 2 worst fights of the card.
Easily.
But. Yeah, I mean, he won after 2.5 years. It was on a 2-fight losing skid, against good competition, Edwards and Burns. But he needed to get back on track, and I think Sato was a perfect opponent for him, because Sato is better in the stand-up, and when he took him to the ground, it was all Gunnar's game, But I expected him to win via submission. He didn't, but he got the win. I think it's good for him to be back on track after 2.5 years without a fight. So we'll see what's next for him.
I agree. I mean, I agree with you saying he's been off for a year, but I'm looking at the stats. One submission attempt, and he had him on the ground the whole fight, guys. I mean, that's terrible. So I was disappointed by this fight. Honestly, I was a little disappointed by Gunnar. I mean, he got the win, but it just wasn't impressive to me. And I don't know what to make of him. I mean, he got the win, but is he back? I don't know. I don't know what you think. Who's he even going to fight next? Also, I think, you got to blame Sato here. The guy, he didn't throw a punch. He barely threw any punches, guys. He had chances to throw, and he just refused to throw. He was so terrified of getting taken to the ground. It was just a really bad fight. I just didn't like this fight. Surprised how well Gunny did. I mean, Jim, I understand what you're saying, but he had 1 submission attempt, and he had 8 minutes of control. I don't like that, guys. I think he should have went for more subs. He just wanted to get the win. It didn't look like he actually wanted to finish the fight. Really, he fucked himself because he would have got 50,000 if you submitted him. He would have got 50K. So just saying, the other guy did improve the submission defense, but I wasn't too impressed. Interesting, Kavanaugh cornered Gunnar, but not Amirkhani. What do you think, man? What do you think, Marcel?
With Gunnar against Amirkhani?
Yeah.
I don't know. Did they train together with SBG before?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Me neither.
Maybe they. I don't know. I think Macron was there. Hey, Andrew wants to say a party wants to talk to the ring bust. Oh yeah, Alex Oliveira's lost 4 in a row though. I think he's getting cut. What do you think, Marcel? Yeah. Or maybe Sato. You were saying maybe Thunder could fight Alex Oliveira. I think they would do Sato and Alex Oliveira. The loser gets cut, if anything. You know, at this point. Sato. It was just a terrible fight. Has Tuvesa and Miocic been off to both guys? Do you know anything about that?
Probably International Fight Week, but it's not done yet, as far as I know.
Gunnar and Holland, no. And yeah, I mean, I was thinking, he already beat Oliver, so there's no point in doing that fight. All right, let's go to the next fight. Molly McCann defeats Monica Carolina. This is the only one I got wrong in the main card. I should listen to you guys on this one. I mean, listen, I'm going to have some bad calls once in a while. This was not one of them. This was not a good call by me, but it is what it is. Molly McCann pretty much dominated this fight. I mean, the second round was kind of competitive, honestly, but actually, Luana maybe should have won the second because I'm looking at she really outstruck her, but the takedown. So it didn't matter. It was pretty one-sided. Molly McCann, she looked amazing. First round, the crowd was all over, and then the third round, getting the spinning back elbow knockout, absolutely insane, just insane. Amazing knockout, one of the best I've ever seen from a woman, no doubt about it. And absolutely deserving the 50. She would have got 50K regardless how many bonuses, and it's just a good win for her, and it really solidifies her in the UFC because she's had some tough losses, but this was a really good win for her, Marcel. And I liked everything about this, including her jumping in the crowd, but I didn't like when she grabbed the belt, was running around with the belt. I just didn't like it. She just beat someone who's unranked at the bottom of the division. She's running around with a replica UFC belt. I didn't like that, but I like the rest of the fight. I don't know. What do you think, man?
Oh man, she was just in the moment. I mean,
who else has ever did that? There's been so many fighters that have got amazing knockouts, never run in the crowd and grab some kid's belt. It's kind of weird, man. I don't like it, man.
Yeah.
Just my thoughts. I think it was amazing. I'm not trying to take away from her, guys. Amazing performance, but that was kind of cringe, honestly. Go ahead, Marcel.
I mean, good. She did great. I think she even she, she just did very good. As expected, coming forward, landing punches like she always does. And yeah, man, that spinning back elbow was crazy. It was perfectly timed. You saw her timing it as well. She was looking at it like, can I do it now? And she did it perfect. I have a fun story, by the way. One of the guys at the Eurosport told me we didn't only have Stefan Struve over there. We also had Marloes Koenen over there.
Oh, nice.
So she was backstage, and when Molly made her weight, you walk off the stage, right? And a few meters, we say meters, you guys say inches, a few meters ago, Marloes Koenen was standing there, and Molly saw her, and she ran to her, and she jumped in her arms. She was like, "Oh, you're my hero," and that kind of stuff. So that was cool to hear. I mean, she did well. I think she had a great night, and I agree with you, man. She definitely deserved a performance bonus, even when, if it were only 4 performance bonuses, she would have 100% got one. So, yeah,
sure.
Probably one of the best women knockouts I've ever seen, probably.
I've just never seen a fighter grab some kid's belt in the crowd and run around, like, especially when they're unranked or at the bottom of the division. I'm just saying, guys, like, it was a great knockout, but I don't know. Like, I mean, I wonder what Valentina's thinking. Because, wow, I mean, that's the real champion. Anyways, it was an amazing knockout. She obviously deserved the 50,000, and it's a big win for her. I think it will get her a ranked opponent, right? Wouldn't you say, Marcel? Or get her someone in the rank? Yeah,
I'd say very possible. I mean, Carolina was 3-1 in the UFC, so yeah,
that's a good win. It's a quality win. Like I said, Carolina's a decent fighter, and for me, this is a nice win. So very impressive win. And also, crazy enough, I mean, this fight didn't go over 2.5 rounds. Crazy, right? Because it ended at 152 in the third round. So a lot of people obviously bet on over 2.5 rounds, and they missed out on that one. So it is what it is. I mean, I don't think anyone really expected the fight to end that way.
We're not that way. Definitely not.
I'm like, all right, she's going to win the decision. That's what I'm saying, Mark. I'm like, all right, she's going to win the decision. I'm like, I'm not surprised. That's what everyone was thinking that, so I'm not surprised. I did think Carolina would do a better job in this fight, but the first round, she just got rocked so bad off the opening bell, Marcel. Like, Molly just charged her, and she was never able to really recover after that, So it is what it is. All right, let's go to the first fight on the main card, and got some thoughts about this fight too. So also, I got to give Glenn. I agree with Glenn because I thought she was going to gas a little bit, and she didn't. She actually got stronger as the fight went on, which is crazy. But the crowd really helped her, I think, too. All right, let's talk about Topuria and Herbert. So, I mean, obviously, guys, I love Topuria in this fight. I was telling you all last week he's going to destroy Herbert. I mean, listen, he won the fight, guys, but that first round was not good. It wasn't good at all. It really wasn't good, and he got dropped with a head kick and almost finished. And honestly, I think if Herbert just was smarter about the shots he landed after the head kick, he could have got him out of there. I really do think so. But then the second round, obviously, he lands the punch from hell and knocks him out. I'm just not convinced this is like this amazing win. Jai Herbert's 1-3 in the UFC. Again, it's like, yeah, he's lost to good guys. I'm going to give this guy a lot of credit. He's fought really tough guys. We talk about Marcel, like these guys like Trevin Jones that fight like brutal strengths of schedule. And then you have Paddy Pimblett fights easy guys, right? But you have these other guys that are fighting brutal levels of competition. And this guy, Trinaldo McCann, Worthy's an easy fight, and then Topuria. I mean, he's brutal, right, for Herbert. But I hope they re-sign him because he's an exciting guy. And I do think there's guys he can beat in this division. The problem with this guy is, Marcel, his chin is not good. His chin is really, really bad, this guy, Herbert. In this fight and the Trinaldo fight, he was like killed. Like he went out cold with one punch. And Reese McKee knocked him out too. So he's got a bit of a chin issue, but he can bang, man. He can bang. You just can't take it back. So Herbert's like the guy that's the hammer, but not a good nail. But he's a good hammer. And man, that first round, I mean, come on. A lot of us parlayed Topuria. We were all scared, That first round was really scary. But he gets the job done in the second round. I think it was an amazing knockout. I was like, wow. I jumped off my couch too, or my chair. I was like, holy fuck. Like, I couldn't believe it, right? But at the same time, Marcel, I just, like I said, I stand by what I said last week. He has no business in this weight class. Go back to 145. I don't know why he's at 155. I don't like this weight class. You saw the size difference in this fight. Yeah, he knocked the guy out, but a guy who's 1-3. What happens when he could beat Paddy too, but what happens when he fights? I'm going to give you an example, Marcel. Let me give you an example. Mateus Gamrot is probably like the 15th ranked guy or something like that, right? Mateus, like maybe like 14, 15. Mm-hmm. Who wins that fight right now? Ilia Topuria or Mateus Gamrot? Mateus Gamrot wins, right?
Yeah, but who wins against Mateus Gamrot?
Not many guys. That's the point. Like, you can't even beat the guy who's like 50. Like, Gregor Gillespie beats a hard fight too, There's hard guys. I don't think the path to the title is at 155 for this guy. And I know his manager disagrees because Malky Caldwell has been following me forever on Twitter. We've been going at it for years, and Malky's anytime I go against one of his guys, I didn't go against this guy. I obviously bet on Topuria, but I was like, this guy had no business being minus 600. And honestly, anyone who bet on Topuria got a little bit lucky in this fight, Marcel, because he's lucky he survived that first round. But I mean, the recovery was amazing. The knockout punch was incredible. But I'm just saying, like, if this was anyone else, I don't know if he would have got there. So give me your thoughts on this, because again, I'm impressed, but I just think he's in the wrong division. I think he needs to go back to 145. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. He has to go back to 145, but he has had issues there before, with making weight. I told you the Cage Warriors event where he was fighting for a title, didn't make weight.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I agree with you, but the thing is, I think that punch was so clean, man. I think many people would have been knocked out with that punch. So it was a super clean punch. And the thing is, the head kick, man, I was like, wow, man, Herbert's going to do it, but he didn't. And Topuria went through it, overcame adversity and won. So I agree with you. He should go back to 145. I think that's the division he should run or compete in, But it's a good comeback win, I think Herbert is. The thing is, Herbert, you can't say he's underrated because I think he gets a lot of respect as well. But on the other side, he's underrated because of his record in the UFC,
Yeah, I know what you're saying. He's like overlooked, maybe. Maybe that's like what we should say. Herbert has real power with the chin, needs to be touched. I agree. I mean, it's 3 times now he's been knocked out. Praise the record about these states. I agree completely. I love the guy. You guys know I love this guy. All last week, I'm like, he's going to destroy this guy. Like, it's an easy fight. How do you call it? He's either submission or knockout. But so did I. Tristan, I do too. Ferris Ilia was always hittable. He's hittable, but man, that head kick was crazy. You know what's crazy, Marcel? Did you see my tweet like at 1:00 that day? I was like, we haven't seen a head kick knockout in a while. I think we're due for one. I was like, we actually got it. It was close. How great were the refs Saturday night as well? So impressed. They were good. They were good. More. There's a couple other refs like Rich Mitchell and these guys from Cage Warriors. They did a good job. Let's see here. To be fair with Herbert, that haymaker. Yeah, I agree with that. It would have knocked out a lot of guys. Only because let's see here. Now you mentioned what's calling Gillespie. I don't know. Where is this guy? I mean, he was calling someone out a few months ago. Who's he calling out? I can't remember now.
I know, but I have to think about Rich Mitchell. I always have to laugh when I see it's always with his arms like this.
And he's like jacked, eh?
Yeah, he's like looking like this, like don't come close to me.
He used to be a fighter, I think. Did he used to be a fighter or something? Or no?
Yeah, I've seen him in the hotel.
He looks like he used to be a fighter or something. Here's the thing, Tristan. That's what I thought too. And I know you're saying, Glenn. I assumed he just took the fight because he's like, all right, I need to fight. The fight's available. It's in London. It's an easy fight. I can win this fight. That's what I thought. But Malky makes it seem like he's going to stay at 155, guys. And I don't think it's a good idea for this guy. But what do I know, right? His manager must know better than me. I mean, they know about his weight issues, obviously. He's obviously got some serious weight issues, Marcel, with the weight cutting. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason I could, because otherwise he needs to get down. I really do think, man. So, I mean, managers spend too much time on Twitter. That's funny. All right, let's go next fight. McCann kind of pulls off the upset, Marcel, over Mike Grundy. Mike Grundy didn't land a punch. No one landed a punch. This is like 10th fight in UFC history, and no one landed a punch, which is crazy. Yeah, I mean, you retweeted me, Marcel. I appreciate that. You know, it's true, though, right? Yeah. Either Mike Grundy was going to lose in front of his dad, who's terminally ill, or McCann was going to lose because he was in a 4-fight losing streak, and he's about to have a kid, his first kid, and he was going to lose and not have a job. You know what I mean? So it really, I saw that guy, Phil, I can't remember his name, Phil Murphy from ESPN. He goes like Hunger Games matchmaking. It really was, right? Killer be killed, man. I mean, listen, I feel bad for Grundy, but you know, this is a sport, you know, and he was there to put the other guy away too. So it is what it is. You know, he got the loss. He's going to get cut probably from the UFC, and McCann saved his job. Great submission, man. Give me your thoughts on this one.
I hope to give Grundy one more, you know, and maybe they do. You know, he's the teammate of Aspinall until, so he might be in the good books with the UFC, and he's a good guy as well. You know,
yeah,
he's not annoying. He's not annoying or whatever, you know. So yeah, and a good win for Amir Khan. He's super necessary as well. You know, he had so many losses behind, and the thing is, in those losses against Lauren Murphy, he looked good in the first round. Against Kamala Kirk, I don't think he lost that fight. So, and against Barboza, he looked good in the third round. So. Yeah, he did well. He finally got a win again, and it was a good win. Anaconda choke, beautiful, within a minute. Yeah. So, yeah, good for him, man.
57 seconds, quickest finish on the card. Amazing. Sergey Pavlovich knocks out Shamil Abdurahimov. I mean, incredible. Oh, sorry, let me get these comments, guys. I apologize. The last fight. Is it for Grundy UFC? I think, but because that's his 4th fight. They usually sign 4-fight deals, right? That's what I think. But I mean, if they give him another fight, I don't mind, obviously. At least he's going to 145. We'll say fight 150. I don't know. I'm just telling you what his manager told me. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I'm not too sure. I would rather see one fight at 145 personally. Nice job. The Mac 1 sub is live. Thanks, Jim. Yeah, smash the like button, guys. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Not quite as quick finishes does. Let's go to the next fight, though. Sergey Pavlovich knocks out Shamil. I mean, I don't think anyone thought this fight would go any differently, honestly, Marcel. Pavlovich is a beast. We all knew this. So, any thoughts? Like, or it went like you planned, I assume.
Yeah. I mean, we both were not going to go with Abdurakhimov, man. Dude is almost 40. Didn't look great in his last fights. Yeah, maybe first round Dawkins was okay, but yeah, Pavlovich all the way. You know, I believe in Pavlovich. I think he's good. He had a bad start in the UFC against Overeem, but overall, he has looked good.
Yeah. Do you think that's it for Shamil? He's lost 3 straight, or do you think they keep him around? Because he is ranked, I think, still. What do you think?
Sorry, I didn't caught what you said.
Oh, okay. Do you think they're going to cut Shamil? Because, I mean, he's lost 3 straight fights, but he has lost to really good guys. So
I would say, man, because I think, like, I don't think he's a 10 plus 10 guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I think they're going to let him go, too. I think
that's not a big future for him.
I'm going to tell you where we're going to see him next. You're going to see him in Eagle
PFL.
FC. Eagle FC. That's what I think.
Oh yeah, that's also possible.
Or
course,
PFL makes sense too, right? In the heavyweight, whatever their tournament. But I think you could see him in Eagle FC. I think Ali will sign it. I think he's Ali's guy, isn't he? I'm pretty sure he's one of Ali's guys. I think. Maybe I'm wrong.
Possible. Yeah.
And you have to end the guy Renan, the guy under contract by KOing Spicely.
Yeah.
What'd you hear?
Yeah, he is. The fight is in the works for June 4th. It's posted by our friend Alfredo Zulino. He's fighting Andreas Mikhailidis, Rinat Fakhretdinov.
Yeah. Tough was 1-3, went 1-3, got a new 4-fight field. Yeah, I know. Justin's he was in an exciting fight with what's his name? Jared Van Der. Yeah, it was a good fight. How high would you rank Pavlovich? Like 10th probably. I think right now. I think Shamil is ranked 10. So yeah, he's number 10. There you go, Andrew. It's really easy, right? Shamil, 1 fight left in his deal. He should book him to fight the winner of like a prospect like that's mental. Yeah. Sure, they could do that. I mean, yeah, you know, if they keep him, it's going to be like a prospect fight. But Marcel's right. I mean, he's not making 10-10. He's probably making 50-50, I would guess, right? Something like that. So it's up to the UFC what they want to do as far as like keeping this guy. Because I'm looking at his, by the way, looking at his fights. He's only fought in 2 pay-per-views. He's had like 10 fights. He's mostly the guy they put on the fight night card. So maybe he's just one of these guys they like to put in to put it against a prospect they think they can win. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Paul Craig and Nikita Krylov. And I told you guys this was a fucking hard fight to pick, man. I really was having a hard time. I ended up with Krylov, and man, it looked like he almost knocked Paul Craig out with those hammer fists. I thought he did. And then Craig woke up and then put him in a triangle choke, and he did it again. And I'm like, he did it again. Why did I pick again? It's my fault. But you know what? I did have him on some DraftKings team, so that was good. But Paul Craig, I mean, what? At this point, if you're like me and you're picking against this guy, you're just not doing it right. This guy he just wins, Marcel. Give me your thoughts, man.
Yeah, dude. Cheat code Craig was there again. You know, this dude is crazy. You know, I also thought he was out for a moment. You know, but it looked like he woke up with another punch. And yeah, Krylov did actually the most stupid thing he could do. You know, keep him on the ground and going into his guard. Why would you do that when somebody's stacked? You know. And he should have let Paul Craig stand up, but he didn't. He was confident in his own ground game, which is okay because Krylov isn't bad, you know. But you know, Craig is a specialist, dude, from his back, and yeah, beautiful submission again. And he got another win, and now he's probably fighting somebody in the top 6 next, probably. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. Let's see more comments here. Marcel gives a scoop on who Connor's fighting. He's not. We don't know. Yeah, it would be Diaz or Poirier, I guess. Or not Poirier. Probably not. I mean, they might do it again. They might. Poirier. I mean, Connor wants that fight, so sure will be weirdly solid. I mean, they could do Romanov. Actually, that's a good fight. I actually don't mind that fight, to be honest with you, Romanov, because Shamil's not easy to get to the ground. You might have to stand with him. You'll see that guy stand up. So maybe it's not bad. Craig and Lewis are the best bet underdogs. Yes, I would say both those guys for sure. There's some like Jim Miller's always a good dog as well. He's always a really good underdog. But Craig for sure has been the best dog, I think, the last couple of years. Classic Craig. I mean, yeah, it's just incredible, right? Like Marcel, I mean, it's just crazy. And the thing is, he has so many good wins on his resume. It's so fucking nuts because he gets his ass kicked. Now he's beaten Jamal Hill, Nikita Krylov, Magomed Ankalaev, and yet he's ranked so low. You know what? You talk about underrated guys. I mean, Paul Craig's got to be one of them, right? Because just the wins he has. I know that the way he's got there has not been easy, but he's beating these guys. He beat Ankalaev, who ranked fourth in the division. He has a win over him. And for some reason, again, I hate when the UFC rankings do this. Why is Jamal Hill ranked above Paul Craig? And I love Jamal Hill, but that doesn't make any sense when they fought last June. It wasn't even a year ago. It's just disrespectful. It really is. Paul Craig should be now he'll take Krylov's spot, so he'll actually jump, I would think. But if they put Hill above him, that would be so dumb, honestly.
I don't think they will.
I hope not. I really hope not, because I'll give Brian Heminger shit again. I think Craig and Smith's a great fight. And didn't he call him out? I think.
He asked for the fight. Yeah.
Great fight. Did Anthony Smith say anything about it? Do you know if he said?
I don't know. But Anthony Smith never says no, pretty much. So
sure. And Chris Curtis is a great dog too. I mean, the last two fights. All right, next fight. Marcel Jack Shore, Timil Valiev. So this was a really, really close fight. Obviously, the third round was just brutal though for Valiev. Again, look at the guys. It's crazy. 4 fights in UFC Valiev, Marcel. He's been dropped 5 times in 4 fights. His chin is really bad. I'm sorry to say, his recovery is amazing. His heart's good. His chin is 5 knockdowns at 135, guys, in 4 fights. That's scary. That's really scary. Somehow he won that fight against Barcelos. Somehow majority decision, even though he got dropped twice. But don't fight is overturned. But this fight, it was super close the first 2 rounds. Though I mean, I do think there's an argument you can make that Valiev won the first 2 rounds. Personally, it was competitive. It's one of those fights, Marcel, I think, where it's like close, so the judges will just give it to the guy because be like, all right, the third round will decide it. That's what I think. Because to me, I don't think it was as clear 1-1 as pretty much everyone thought. For me, Valiev was really competitive in that second round. I know, Marcel, I think you thought he won the second round.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the stat, and again, stats are just stats. They're not what happened in the fight. But first round, Valiev won that round. He outstruck him 30-24. Second round, 21-17, Valiev, and they both had 1 takedown. They both had the same amount of control time. So it was that close. I don't think it was really close. I think you couldn't give it to either guy, but the judges won Shore. And then obviously Shore won. And I think the third round should have been 10-8. I disagree with you on that one. I know you said 10-9, but I think that the guy got dropped twice, and I think that's enough for 10-8 in my opinion. 2 knockdowns is pretty brutal. So
you got to let me explain why.
Absolutely. So I just want to give my thoughts. So for me, I think 29-28 Valiev, if you want to get, or a draw, I guess would be fine too. There's a few ways you could score this fight, but I don't think it's as clear the first 2, like the second round for sure, as people made it out to be personally, but that's just me. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the fight. Go ahead.
I think round 1 was a Valiev round. Second round, I had it close to Valiev, but it was close. Like I said, I don't mind if you have it 19-19 after 2 rounds. But I had it 20-18. You go to the third round, he got dropped twice. He had him in the guillotine. Not really fight finishing or whatever, but he had him, and he did very well. Besides getting knocked down twice, so for me, it's like, do you have to how do you say that? If you give somebody a present, how do you say that? Reward. Do you have to reward somebody for knocking down somebody twice, giving him the 10-8? Or you're looking at the complete third round and you're like, it was super competitive. He knocked him down twice, but he was up immediately after that, So that's how I looked at it. So if you give a 10-8 round, I have no problem with it at all, If you give a 10-9 round, I'm good with it as well. I went with 10-9, could have went with 10-8. I didn't know for sure. Shore won, was a close fight. He had a better third round. I have no problem at all with it, but I just score it at the way I see it, And people are like, yeah, he's a huge Valiev fan. Listen, guys, this comes from the Trevin Jones thing, But that was more pointed at the referee, who was inconsistent in that fight. That was my problem there, So I mean, I have no problem with Shore winning. He did very well. Third round clear win for Shore. So yeah, it's okay. I have no problem with it.
It's a huge win for Jack Shore, though. Let's give this guy a lot of credit. We were both against him last week. I bet him on his first 4 fights, and I just went against him once, and it didn't pay off. It's just the guy's really good, Marcel, and I need to see the improvement in the stand because I didn't really see it until now, and I saw it in this fight. So the fact he stood and traded with this guy and knocked him down twice and won the fight is very impressive to me. And I don't know who he gets next, though. But I think someone maybe in bottom end of the top 15 makes sense, right? Like someone at the very bottom. This guy's saying Marlon Moraes, you could do that fight. I think Moraes, he probably loses that fight too. So at this point, but I mean, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he catches Jack. Who knows? It's a good fight. 2 more fights, Marcel. Elise Reed defeats Corey McCann split decision. So this was just a frustrating fight to watch. It really was, because I loved McCann in this fight, guys. I really did, and I said she was just going to wrestle Marcel. The takedowns were so easy for her, but she shot with 10 seconds left in each round.
Yeah.
Terrible game plan, bad fight IQ. She also looked really nervous in the cage, I guess because of the layoff, the fans. I'm not sure. She looked really nervous to me. She looked like she had the jitters. I don't think this is really Reed winning the fight. I think this is McKenna losing it for herself. I really think so, Marcel. If she just got the takedowns, like look at the third round, Marcel. It was really, I know she didn't do much with it, but as she just got those takedowns in the first 2 rounds, it would have been a much easier fight. The fact she stood and traded with a 58.5-inch reach is just dumb. Terrible game planning. I'm really shocked that the Team Alpha Male didn't have a better game plan for this. But it was bad to watch. I don't know. Get thoughts.
They were also saying she was up.
I couldn't believe he said that. He goes, "You're up to fight." One judge had it 327, so I guess he was right. But
what the hell? What an idiot! The judge.
Awful. I had McCann as one of my best bets. Not a good pick, obviously, but I don't think my analysis was wrong. When she got the fight to the ground, it was easy, but she just refused to shoot, I had Reed winning the fight 29-28. I gave her the first 2 rounds. The first round was super cool. The second round was the easiest round to score. I can't believe one of the judges gave it to McKenna. That is awful. So I just didn't like her performance, man. I don't know.
I think I had first round McKenna, second, third Reed. That's what I had. Yeah. So
I think most people had the first kind of opposite view.
First 2 for Reed, yeah, I know.
In the end, you got to the right fight, the right winner. Yeah. Honestly,
got to the right score.
That's the right winner. It somehow. So there we go. Glenn says so many UK judges, but they fly in these guys like Derek Cleary. That guy's. I mean, how do you score? This guy's been judging fights forever. How is he so clueless? I don't really feel like either girl should be in the UFC. I don't think they're ready either. I mean, Reed. I mean, she won the fight. We'll give her credit, but McKenna looked so tentative in this fight, guys.
Why got these turrets from America flown into the US to the UK to score? Because what Glenn says, mostly when it's a stupid scorecard in the UK, it's a US judge. Yep. It's not a UK judge. So it's super stupid. I don't understand.
No, I agree completely. And then we had the opening of the card, Muhammad Bakayev, just an amazing performance. I mean, well, I need to see more from this guy. I still do. I still don't think we learned like a ton from him because the fight lasted 58 seconds, but he beat a legitimate UFC guy who had a win in the UFC, and he knocked him out, he submitted him after dropping with the flying knee. Amazing. I mean, just amazing. Electric. Yeah. I really like this kid. I love his attitude. I love everything about him. I can't wait to see him fight again. I saw he's going to fight. He wants to fight at International Fight Week, I think, 276, I believe it's called.
He wants Tim Elliott. Yeah.
He wants Tim Elliott. I saw that. Tim Elliott doesn't want the fight, though. Tim said, this guy's a rookie, and I have more bonuses than he has fights in his career or something like that. He said something like that. So I don't blame Tim for not wanting to fight this guy. I wouldn't want to fight him either. I mean, this guy is a killer. And, Marcel, I mean, you talk about future champs. This guy looks like he has, the tools. But, again, we got to see him tested. He hasn't been tested by, like, a good wrestler or something like that. And that's why I do like the Elliott fight, because it's going to test the wrestling, right? That's why I like the fight. But it's probably not he's probably not ready for that. Tajir Ulanbekov, I think he beats him. Tajir he hasn't looked that good in the UFC, right, Marcel? Like, you've been unimpressed, I guess.
Tajir does just enough to get by all the time, and it
cost him his last fight. Yeah, I know. Joe's cousin Corey didn't look good. She didn't. Makaya beats Figgy and Moreno. That's funny. I mean, he's good, man, but like, hold your horses. Let's wait for this guy to fight someone good. Sal Dumas should be in jail. The guy's a horrible judge. Super corrupt. 2 of the 3 youngest UFC fighters in the prelim should be around for a while. I agree. It's Marcel. Kevin was asking about Zabit. Do you know? Like, his
no idea. I saw him training last time, but he's not competing so far, so I have no idea, man. I hope we see him back soon, because it's been way too long.
No, for sure. I think that's it for UFC London, guys. I mean, overall, great card. I would give this 9.5 out of 10. I would probably say the Gunner fight and the McKenna fight knock it down like a point or half a point. But Marcel was one of the better cards of the year, one of the better fight nights. And anything else you want to say about this card before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I give it a 9, man. It was an amazing fight, amazing card from start to finish. So yeah,
it was a great night of fights, and I don't know if any of you guys were actually there at the fights, but if you were, I mean, I'm sure it was really crazy inside the arena. All right, and then I mean, there wasn't a ton of other. I don't think there was a ton of other MMA, Marcel. Was there? I know there was
CFFC, Ryzen.
Okay, actually there was. What am I talking about? There was CFFC, Ryzen, Cage Warriors, and then there was PFL as well. That guy, I talked to one last week, Bruno Miranda. He won the contract, so that's another guy. And then this week, man, you had freaking Bavon Lewis fighting at heavyweight. We'll talk about that a little bit tomorrow for a few minutes.
Brett Martin also not fighting.
Brett Martin's fighting my cousin, Brett. I'm kidding. Marcus
Oh, Glory 80.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in 1 second. Lad Dumont fighting was better. That's funny. No way. And yeah, he won his fight too. Glory 80. I didn't see it, but I know there was like a fight in the crowd or something like that during the Badr Hari fight. Is that what happened, or can you briefly tell us?
Yeah, Badr Hari got knocked down by a knee by Eric Rosek, and you had on one side you had the Moroccan crowd for Badr, and the other side you had the hooligans from Legia Warsaw from Eric Rosek. So the first thing I got told is that the hooligans started to riot to the Moroccan fans, but later I've heard that some Moroccan fans threw a bottle to them. You don't throw a bottle to hooligans, So they went crazy. They went throwing with chairs, some injured people over there. So they stopped the event. They said like it's canceled, So the main event didn't even happen, which is crazy. I think the organization should have been like also just bad security, almost non security. But the thing is, the organization should boot those people out of the event center, and just let the fight continue. Definitely the main event, because those two guys, Jamal Ben Sadiq and Levi Richter's, those guys have trained for this fight, and they haven't fought. What you gonna do? It doesn't make sense. I know they've canceled it. I don't know what's gonna happen, but just really weird overall.
That is strange. Well, that's a strange thing. I didn't see the PFL card. I haven't been watching them lately, but I heard that. I mean, I think the guy, he got the only finish, right? I think so. I think. I mean, I don't even know actually. Let me double check that. I don't want to sound like an idiot right now. PFL challenge. I just know that Bruno was the guy that they wanted to win. So I kind of feel like they're giving the contract to the guys they want to win, Marcel. Like, let me get to the results on that. Yeah, he got the knockout. Oh yeah, sorry. There was 3 finishes. The Canadian guy Dufour won, and that Demir, I can't remember his last name, but it's hard to pronounce. Farabovich or whatever. He won too, and a lot of people thought he should actually won the contract. So I think that's probably what hype was saying. Be nice to watch if you had a secondary person watching MMA like we do. I love Strikeforce, dude. I loved Strikeforce. It was incredible. Or Pride too. Those were the best. UFC, Pride, Strikeforce, best 3 promotions, I think. Or WEC was good too. Any thoughts on Cage Warriors? I didn't see it, but I know Vucenic won again, and the guy's really good, right, Marcel? He's great. You guys have anything cool with people I was doing next week? Tyler Clark. Yeah. What division is it again? Is it the women? I can't remember what division it is. I know that they have 8 cards this week. I haven't looked ahead. I just looked at this one, Andrew, and like I talked about Pavon's on it, a few other guys. Anything else you want to talk more stuff? We get out of here. I guess it's 6 o'clock now. My time.
What you want, man? It's up to you.
No, I gotta get out of here anyways. I got my bowling league. So plug your stuff, and I got a little thing to do here. But you go plug your stuff first, and I'm gonna do it in a second here.
Big Marcel 24, Twitter, Instagram, and Eurosport.nl, and then the mixed martial arts section.
All right. So today is the first time in 2 years in Ontario, Canada, where we don't have to wear these fucking things, these masks. And I told my friend I'm going to cut it on camera, and I'm cutting, and I'm never wearing it again. Done. I don't ever want to wear it again. I want to breathe now. So 2 years we've been wearing masks, guys, in Canada, in Ontario. It's insane. I know. When I tweeted that, people were like, "Dude, we haven't worn masks in 18 months in like Florida and Indiana and stuff." And I'm just like, "My God!" And I'm assuming you guys don't wear masks over there, Marcel, right?
No. Well, we only have to do it. Dude, we have to do it in a train over here, like train or in buses.
Anywhere, including the gym, you have to wear a mask. It's just stupid. So that's cut up. That's gone. I'm never wearing it again. Plug my stuff here. You guys can follow me on Twitter at MMAOB Podcast, MMAOddsmaker.com. It's on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, all those places. Find me at MyMMAnews.com, bookies.com. Got my best bets. There were 2 for 3 last week. Pretty good. We'll be back tomorrow, Marcel, 5 p.m. Eastern. We're going to break down UFC Columbus, 14 fights, I believe. So looking forward to talking about that card. Hopefully David Onama's got an opponent by then, because I know they said TBD for no. Okay. I just think they should do the Lutz fight, because he was supposed to fight in the same card, but it looks like they don't want to do that fight. So
both are off the card.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Do you know what moved up to the main card? Do you know?
I think they just go with 5 fights.
Okay, there we go. Okay. All right, guys. Talk to you tomorrow. Peace.